Jennifer Lopez goes missing. Court calls her to testify.
And he had a sex tape on J-Lo.
Jennifer Lopez has multiple things.
We knew then that there was a nice tape out there on J-Lo.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
My focus right now is Sean Combs because he's a sex trafficker and he's using music and entertainment to sex traffic.
You won't believe what J-Lo just did. Rumor has it she's on the run. Jenny from the Block pulled a disappearing act right before she was supposed to show up in court. Word on the street is that J-Lo is dealing with some serious legal trouble, and instead of facing it, she's skipping town. If she's risking her whole career like this, you know it's big. We're not talking about small problems here. This could shake everything, her music, movies, and entire empire. This situation could change everything for Jennifer Lopez, and the drama is only getting started.
But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
Y'all, word on the street is that Jennifer Lopez will be required to testify in Diddy's trial because she has allegedly been mentioned a bunch of times in the...
I mean, she was one of the close. I feel like anybody he dated should be, right? Because I'm pretty sure he shared stuff with them. You know, when you do your pillow talking? Yeah.
The new 120 lawsuits, but there's a bit of a problem. She's nowhere to be found. Jennifer Lopez has allegedly gone missing. Child, this can only mean one thing. She knows, guys.
She knows.
She knows she's going down for all the crimes she helped Diddy commit, and there's no way out. I mean, y'all have been saying for ages that she needs to be held accountable, and it looks like the day has finally come. That is, of course, if the feds can find her. Now, when it comes to J-Lo, we know that she was involved in the 1999 incident when she and Diddy were together and went to a nightclub called Hot Chocolate at Midtown's Club New York in December 1999 to celebrate the release of Shine's soon-to-be-released album. Based on reports, when it reached around 2:20 a.m., Diddy accidentally knocked a drink out of a patron's hand named Matthew Allen, whose street name is Scar. Apparently, Scar didn't take it as an accident, and he confronted Diddy over knocking down his drink. One thing led to another, egos were bruised, were fired, and Natanya Rubin, who was caught in the crossfire, confirmed that J-Lo smuggled the Bang Bang into the club, and she is the one who handed it to Diddy before they ran away. Honey, immediately after...
That's so crazy, man. Like a lot of these clubs, like they don't be searching the women like they do the men. And you see how easy that is. Like if you want to like set somebody up, you can have a girl go to a club and act like you don't even know her. That's so crazy, man. I mean, I've been to a lot of clubs back in my days, and you know, there was like shots fired, but it was always like outside, people arguing in the parking lot.
But wait, why was J-Lo even going to court in the first place? The reason behind her testimony might really surprise you. And no, it's not about her music or movies. This situation is way more serious and could damage her carefully crafted image. Let me break it down for you. Jenny from the Block wasn't dodging a parking ticket or some minor celebrity drama. This is big business, and it has all of Hollywood buzzing. Word on the street is that J-Lo was supposed to testify in a high-profile case involving some powerful figures in the entertainment industry. J-Lo's been in the game for years. She's seen it all, done it all, and probably knows more secrets than she lets on. But this time, it seems she might be involved in something much bigger than expected. Some are saying the case revolves around a major money laundering scheme involving millions of dollars. And here's the twist. J-Lo wasn't just a witness. There are rumors she might have been involved in some way. I'm not saying she's guilty, but in Hollywood, things get complicated fast. You make a deal or sign a contract, and suddenly, you're caught up in something you didn't expect. Now, with shady deals and some of the biggest names in showbiz involved, it looks like J-Lo might have stumbled into something way bigger than she ever imagined.
The incident, J-Lo and Diddy sped away in a 1999 Lincoln Navigator, but ran a red light and were pulled over by the police. Based on police reports, they were both in possession of a stolen 9mm, which was found in the trunk, and they were both arrested. But J-Lo's horror show didn't end there, because her next 14 hours were spent in a cell. And the police source said she took turns crying unintelligibly and sobbing uncontrollably. Eventually, both Diddy and J-Lo walked away. But unfortunately, Shine was the fall guy for the incident, because J-Lo lied to the jury about what happened and protected Diddy. Guys, this right here, this is what they're going to get J-Lo for. And the unfortunate thing for J-Lo is that people like Shine and Natanya are willing to collaborate with the feds. Natanya even said that she was willing to have the fragments taken out of her face for ballistics evidence because she is happy to have the case reopened.
So none of this is breaking news. All the stuff they're talking about right now. You know, I clicked on this more so about where the hell J-Lo is at. Like, is she trying to get away from, testifying? Hopefully they'll get into that.
Like, she is willing to have a doctor remove a part of it in her face so that they can use it as evidence if need be for the trial, even if it will cost her her life. You see, according to Natanya, at the time when the incident happened, people believed Diddy more than her. But at the time, she couldn't do anything because, one, Diddy was more powerful, and two, she was also a mother, and her focus was just getting to her kids safely. But now she feels like justice finally needs to be served, and even J-Lo needs to go down for her involvement and for lying in front of a jury. Basically, J-Lo smuggled a firearm into a club, handed it to Diddy, who had the intention to harm. Then she and Diddy ran away after the incident, lied about what happened. They made sure J-Lo also lied to the police and to the grand jury, and then they both made sure that someone else went to jail for their crime. The other thing is that Lil Rod mentioned the 1999 incident in his lawsuit, alleging that Diddy bragged about getting away with crimes. Specifically, Lil Rod shared that Diddy was responsible for what happened in the nightclub in New York City with Shine because he bragged about getting away with it. Speaking of Shine, after Diddy's apology video went viral, he's one of the people who reacted, and in a post shared on Instagram, Shine denounced Diddy and showed his support for those who were affected by Diddy's actions, saying, "I vehemently denounce the repugnant behavior of Sean Diddy Combs captured on the video. As a father of a precious daughter, a global citizen, and the next Prime Minister of Belize, I want absolutely nothing to do with people who engage in this pattern of diabolical behavior." Shine has actually also been very vocal about how he believes that both J-Lo and Diddy should be made to pay for their crimes. So if the feds are looking into all these other cases that were swept under the rug, there are pretty high chances that J-Lo will need to answer for her crimes as well. Okay, other than this incident, people are also saying that J-Lo witnessed firsthand how Diddy can get in different other situations. For instance, there was a time when Gene...
Quick question, because like the whole situation with Cassie in the video we seen, and Diddy, they're saying Diddy can't be charged for that because it happened, it happened so long ago. Is that the same case with this whole Shine situation? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Can he be charged for that because it was so long ago? Or what would they be charging him for exactly?
Deal was given a story about how Diddy threatened to put his hands on Will Smith because Will and Jada were allegedly hoping to hook up with J-Lo. Apparently, when Will and Jada started talking to J-Lo suggestively, Diddy was visibly upset. So he walked to Will Smith and straight up told him that he felt like he was trying to hook up with J-Lo. He literally wanted to punch Will Smith and requested that Gene remain in his vicinity in case he needed protection.
Birthday party that I think either Matt Damien was giving for Ben Affleck.
Said Matt
It was
Damien.
just a little gathering. It was at the Four Seasons. Will Smith and his sister and her husband, we were all sitting on this side of the room. Matt Damien,
Ben
Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, and then he was like this, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, "Yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close because I'm a snuffer."
In addition,
with what we know, everything we know about Will and Jada, with that red table talk and the August Alsina, whatever his name is, it's not hard to believe. It's not.
Imagine J-Lo taking the stand and revealing everything that goes on behind the scenes in the music and film industries. That kind of testimony could flip the entire industry upside down. Careers ruined, reputations shattered, and some people possibly facing jail time. But here's the thing, J-Lo is no rookie. She didn't build her empire on talent alone. She's smart, business savvy, and knows how to protect herself. So if she's running, there's a reason. Maybe she's shielding someone else, or maybe she knows something so dangerous that speaking up would put her at risk. Whatever it is, it's serious enough to threaten everything she's worked for. Some think it could just be a misunderstanding. But let's be real, that's not how things work in the celebrity world. When someone as big as J-Lo disappears right before a court appearance, you know something's off. The big question is, what does J-Lo know that's worth risking her entire career for? Is she protecting herself, someone else, or both? And who else might be tangled up in this situation? Everyone's asking these questions, and when the truth comes out, it's bound to be shocking.
Welcome back. We're spotlighting the firestorm surrounding music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. In the wake of more than 100 new sex assault allegations, we're wondering, how dangerous really is Diddy? Now, he's been denied bail twice, we know, by two different judges. This week, his legal team, by the way, submitted a notice of appeal to the U.S. District Court, trying to reverse those rulings and get him out. He's being held in federal jail, the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, and he maintains his innocence. Now, before we start talking about his upcoming federal case, let's look back a little bit at the turbulent times of Sean Diddy Combs.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now.
As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers. Agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and the large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. And we're going to stand by his side as he does. We believe in him wholeheartedly.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight.
We have a very special guest we want to welcome in now. He's a retired NYPD detective, widely known as the hip-hop cop, Derek Parker. Derek, good morning to you. Thanks for coming on Opening Statements.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Let's take a trip back to the 90s together, please. Back in the 90s, set the scene for us. I understand that you were tapped to start up the NYPD's Rap Intelligence Unit.
Yes, I was given that task to create this unit to deal with the violence in the hip-hop community and to provide a better understanding of what went on from the police commissioner and the chief of department.
So then how did you get in contact with Diddy for the first time? What was the first time you two crossed paths?
Well, I've been watching Diddy for a while, back in the 90s, and one of the bigger events that I had was the shooting at Club New York involving himself with J-Lo and Shine. I was tasked to go there, and I got a phone call in the middle of the night to get up and go to the city because this happened. And when I went to the precinct that night, it was very chaotic because all the lawyers were outside and they were all applauding me, saying somebody with brains has finally showed up. We want to see our client. It was really, really a chaotic scene. So basically what happened was that there was a shooting inside the club where Diddy, I call him Puff back then, was in the car with J-Lo and Wolf, his bodyguard. They took off and left, and Shine, who was with them, apparently came out with a gun in his hand, and the police arrested him on the spot. And then what happened was that while they were in the precinct, they brought J-Lo and Diddy back with Wolf to the Midtown North precinct, and when they brought them back, I spoke with them very briefly, and then we transported them back to Midtown South. That was where the precinct of occurrence was. And then the DA came in, and then he handled the case from there, and then they did the interviews, and then we went from there and handled that case.
J-Lo is raising the stakes in this drama, and rumors are flying about her sudden disappearance. Whether she's hiding in plain sight or on a remote island, tracking her down won't be easy. We all know Jenny from the block loves to travel in style. Think yachts in St. Tropez or beach days in Turks and Caicos. But this time, there are no glamorous Instagram posts or paparazzi shots of her lounging in designer bikinis. So, where could she be? Some speculate she might have gone to Argentina, far enough from the US to escape the legal drama. Plus, with her love for Latin America and Spanish skills, she could blend right in. Others are suggesting Dubai, a celebrity hotspot full of luxury and, more importantly, not known for strict extradition laws. If that's the case, she could be kicking back in a 5-star resort while her legal team handles everything back home. Everyone is wondering, where is J-Lo and what's she really up to?
Did you agree with how that case wound up proceeding against Shine?
Well, I have to say that, Shine was caught with the gun that night, so it happened with him. I can't say he's totally innocent, but, it went the way it went. I mean, it was very difficult because there were conflicting statements from witnesses that said what Diddy did. Some people said, one person said he had a gun. Some people said he didn't have a gun. It was just a lot of things going on back then. The DA had a very tough time to prosecute that case.
I was going to ask you about that, Detective. Weren't there 2 guns, according to some accounts, that Shine had one and Diddy had the other?
Well, the other gun you're talking about was probably found in the car that they were traveling in. That was the second gun that was that had been found that night. So the police had recovered 2 guns. You're correct in that.
Gotcha. And so, Detective Derek, so that was the first time you crossed paths, and then along the way, I understand you had more and more interaction with him, more arrests, so many so that you started getting the nickname Diddy's Detective. Tell us kind of how that happened, please.
Well, what happened was that, I've been following Diddy for a while. I mean, the East Coast, West Coast war was in the early 90s when that happened, out there with Bad Boy Records and then Death Row Records with Suge Knight. So, I mean, I traveled to Los Angeles and to Las Vegas back then, but I followed Diddy. I followed his career, and every time he got into trouble, I would get called by the chief or the chief of detectives, or the PC, the police commissioner would call me as well when he wanted information about what went on with this individual. So he had the Steve Stout assault at MTV with the MTV thing, so I had dealt with that. But it was a lot of things that people started nicknaming me Diddy's Cop, because every time he got into trouble, I was there. I had to be there to give the brass and the department an update on what was going on with him and why these things were happening with him.
Mm-hmm. Detective, tell me, when Tupac was shot at the recording studio in New York, and at the same time he was shot, we know Diddy's in the building, were you called in to investigate that?
I was on the phone with the detective that was responding to that scene, and I told him it was going to be very difficult for him to really get a handle on what was going on, because, people had called me and told me what was going on with that shooting at the Park studio. So I knew it was going to be very difficult to get Tupac to cooperate and to say who shot him. And there was always some banter that he may have shot himself when he pulled his gun out as he was being robbed. And that was always the case back then.
I think he did, right? I think that was documented that he did accidentally shoot himself in addition to being shot by someone else.
That is
right,
correct.
right. Thank you for that, Detective. And so then, here we go. Things progressed, right? The rap wars, as you know, the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, and then Tupac is killed. Were you consulted on that? I'm so curious if you were consulted as to what you may have known about Diddy at the time.
Well, I went out to, when Tupac was killed, I had told my superiors here in New York that we were going to have a problem with this. And I keep remembering the same line. My inspector said, Derek, listen, they don't kill people in rock and roll. Why are you involved in this? And I said, well, this is going to be a big deal, because I was in the cold case squad and I was doing unsolved homicides for a long time. And my captain didn't really want me to be pulled over into this rep intelligence thing, but it just happened. And then when Biggie Smalls got killed, that was the biggest problem that we had in New York, because I had to formulate a plan to for his burial and for the funeral, and for all the threats that were being given out to to Diddy, to Little Kim, to several people involved in his entourage at this funeral. And that's when we had a big problem in New York, where we had to come up with an attack plan to make sure that everybody came here that was safe and that we had any problems, and Diddy wasn't really assassinated by some people that wanted to get at it.
I'm so glad you offered that, Detective. Thank you. That was going to be the next thing I was going to ask, your involvement when Biggie was killed. In your detective work, in particular, following Diddy, keeping tabs on him, knowing what's going on, investigating some of these incidents you mentioned, did you ever come across any information tying him to either the murder of Tupac Shakur or the murder of Biggie Smalls?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. The murder of Tupac Shakur was done by some individuals that were out in LA. It's an LA-based information about the people that were involved. Diddy, yes. Diddy had some beefs with Tupac back then, but to say that he was directly involved in that right now, that's too premature to say that. There's been a lot of talk about, this payment for assassination against Tupac that maybe Diddy provided, but that's really inconclusive right now. I have to see how that really forms out. As far as the Biggie case is concerned, the individuals that were involved in that, one of the individuals is dead, from what I know. And in the Tupac case, 3 of the individuals are dead, and there's only one person that's still alive, and that's Keefe D, and he's going to be going on trial next year sometime for the murder of Tupac.
Right, Detective. And as you said, a big question is whether or not information may come in about any alleged payment, allegedly for $1 million, for the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. Was that statement made by Diddy is a big question here. I'm wondering if we're going to get some answers. Detective Derek Parker, I have so many more questions for you. You have lived a fascinating life. You've written a book about some of your casework. Take a look at this. I got it up on the screen. Notorious C.O.P. Inside the story of the Tupac, Biggie, and Jam Master Jay investigations from the NYPD's first hip-hop cop, Derek Parker, with Matt Deal. I can't wait to read your book, and I'd love to have you come back on the program. As you know, this investigation is quite voluminous, and we have the trial of Keefe D coming up as well very soon, and there could be somewhat of an intersection, as you know, Detective, with cases.
Some of you might be wondering, what about Europe? You're not wrong for thinking that. J.Lo has always loved a good Italian escape, but that might be too obvious if she's really trying to stay off the radar. She'll need to think outside the box. Now, here's the wildest theory I've heard. Some insiders are saying she might have gone way off the grid, like to a remote island in the South Pacific. We're talking Fiji, Bora Bora, or maybe somewhere even more secluded. Can you picture J.Lo roughing it in a private villa, no glam squad, just hiding out until everything blows over? But here's the twist. Wherever J.Lo is, she's not alone. You know her man, Ben Affleck, isn't about to let her go through all this drama on her own. The real question is, did he leave with her from the start? Or is he staying cool and lying low to throw people off the trail. And what about her twins, Max and Emmy? Are they with her? Or did she leave them with family to keep them out of the mess? The mommy shamers are going to have a field day if they find out she left the kids behind during all this chaos. Now, here's some piping hot tea. A little birdie tells me that J.Lo's inner circle is scrambling to track her down. Apparently, she went completely off-plan and didn't tell anyone where she was going. For someone with a reputation as a control freak when it comes to her career, it's wild to think she just threw caution to the wind and disappeared like this.
The arrest, it's kind of crazy that she isn't saying anything. You'd think she'd offer something. You'd think she'd say it when Cassie was videos came out, but what is she hiding? Why isn't she speaking? That's the big question I have. These two were together for a long time. In fact, a new clip just resurfaced. A lot of Wendy's Williams clips are coming out, but here's one. J.Lo's mom was clearly not into Diddy.
I was telling you that I could always see you getting back with Puffy in a little way.
I remember you said
yes.
that. Yes.
Or in my mind.
Look at Look it.
Or in my mind, getting together permanently with
well, first of
Pitbull.
all, right, Pitbull, it's crazy. Everybody came alive. They all had something to say.
Yeah, everybody has an opinion.
Yes, it's funny to me.
So, all right, so no Puffy, but I see
no
you in Pitbull. One of them you write about.
No Puffy, no Puffy. Now, she's spoken about Puffy. Puffy cheated on her. That was sort of what she had said, but there was a lot more to this story, guys, that I thought was important of revisiting now with these accusations really charged, and so the charge is so bad that he's still remaining in jail. So let's go through what happened in New York. You tell me if you think J.Lo has something to hide. If you're unfamiliar, I want to break it down. The history of the New York scandal and the shooting case. On December 28th, 1999, Sean Puffy Combs and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez have been celebrating a soon-to-be-released album by Shine, aka Jamal Barrow, who's right here. This is that Shine. In the Midtown Club in New York. They were leaving when Combs, carrying a bottle of champagne, accidentally jostled one of the club's patrons, knocking a drink out of his hand. The man, Matthew Allen, a street tough known as Scar, responded with a shove. Things escalated. One of Allen's companions allegedly threw a stack of money in Combs' face, and shots were fired, leaving 3 people injured. Combs and Lopez were arrested, fleeing the scene in a Lincoln Navigator with a pew-pew in the trunk. J.Lo was quickly absolved. Now, during the trial itself, the trial lasted 7 weeks, included 60 witnesses, 126 court exhibits. It was a battle of wills between the Manhattan District Attorney and Mr. Combs, who rejected a plea bargain that required jail time. Although witnesses said they'd seen Combs with the pew-pew and his driver testified that his boss had bribed him to claim ownership, the legal team, including Johnny Cochran, created enough doubt that Combs was acquitted. I don't know if you know this, Judge, but this person, Jennifer Lopez, is a very famous actress, one lawyer pointed out. To think Mr. Combs is walking around with her with a loaded pew-pew, it's so ridiculous that it stretches the imagination. Is it now? Prosecutor Matthew Bondanos set out to prove that Mr. Combs took advantage of his celebrity from the moment he strode into the club in New York. Neither he nor his members or his entourage were searched as regular patrons would. He also noted that once under arrest, Combs expected the same special treatment from the legal system. Mr. Bondanos already argued, attempting to influence witnesses through offers of cash, etc. Prosecution witnesses, including the most seriously injured victim, Natania Rubin, testified that Mr. Allen, who goes by the nickname Scar, threatened to kill Mr. Barrow, Shine, who performs under the name Shine. Miss Rubin then said she saw flashes from 2 shots, one each fired by Combs and Shine, and grasped her face as a bullet smashed into her nose. After 2 days of deliberations, a jury this evening acquitted Sean Combs, hip-hop mogul, of possession and bribery charges stemming from this incident in Manhattan in 1999. In the end, it was Shine who was served almost 9 years for possession, reckless endangerment, etc., though he did so angrily, claiming Combs had sold him out to save his own skin. After his acquittal, Combs changed his nickname to P. Diddy in hopes of putting his past behind him.
You might think J.Lo leaving her team behind was risky, but wait until you hear what's happening to her finances. This move could cost her more than just a few luxury bags. We're talking about her entire empire crumbling before our eyes. J.Lo has built a fortune with music, fashion, movies, and perfumes, but right now, it's looking like a house of cards ready to collapse. She's been working on a new album, but with all this legal drama, who's going to want to collaborate with her? Rumor has it producers are walking away, tours are being canceled, and venues don't want to take a gamble on someone who might not even show up. And that's just scratching the surface. Her face is plastered on everything from billboards to TV ads, selling designer clothes, makeup, and more. But major brands aren't going to risk their reputation on someone tangled in legal trouble. Reports are already coming in that contracts are being canceled, which means those multi-million-dollar deals she had lined up are slipping through her fingers. And let's not even get started on her acting career. J.Lo is set to star in some big Hollywood films, but directors are already on the hunt for replacements. In Hollywood, if you're out of sight, you're out of mind, and the industry won't wait around.
Name change, something he did recently as well, calling himself Love, as he knew all these allegations were coming. The Love album. Now, fast forward, Tanya has now spoken out. She is willing to remove the bits from her face to prove it was, in fact, Diddy who shot her. She was one of the victims and said, who better to tell you what happened than the person who got shot smack dab between the eyes. She said that she spent the past 25 years trying to get justice for the night she claims Combs shot her in the face, not Shine. She tells News Nation she doesn't believe Diddy was properly charged, and she continues to fear for her life. She believes she's also putting her life at risk by speaking out at Diddy. Good for her, she did before a lot of others did. I live a simple, quiet, risk-averse life, so if I should meet with an untimely demise, it would require a deep investigation. I understand the peril of what I'm exposing. She remained adamant since the shooting that it was Combs who shot her, and that she was facing them when they pulled it and saw Combs do it in her nose. She filed the $130 million lawsuit, there she is right there, for compensation against him in 2008 and settled in 2011. Now, Shine has since defended himself. He was out there saying, I felt I was the fall guy, but he still doesn't blame Diddy. In the wake of the allegations from the infamous club in 1999, Jamal Shine Barrow spoke out saying he's the fall guy, but isn't placing the blame on Diddy, probably because he got some money. It opens wounds. Everyone knew all along I was the fall guy. My political enemies tried to make me into the criminal. Everyone knew I took the fall, but he maintained his innocence, saying at all this time I was defending myself. I did not shoot them. I maintained that I shot nobody. But he still wouldn't put out the, that Diddy did it. That's what's really frustrating. Now, furthermore, Little Rod opened up about this as well in his lawsuit, which we have here. And he opened up that he found filed this explosive lawsuit, as we know, and he was often bragging about, bragging over and boasting over the fact that he got away with it. That's what he was saying in this lawsuit. Law enforcement tell the Post that the infamous shooting and the trial could potentially be reinvestigated as part of this federal probe, which is now happening. Diddy is arrested. But they got eyes on him in Miami, and the feds are talking to witness after witness who is familiar with the case. They're corroborating everything they can, but everything past and present is on the table. Woo! So, yeah, this is where we stand. Now, Netanya has been very vocal. She has fought back, as we know. She's made it clear she'll do whatever she has, even open up her face. And now a lot of other clips of J-Lo's mom coming forward about how she would never allow it to her daughter to go back with him, as we just saw at the beginning of this video. This idea, could J-Lo have held the weapon in her purse in that club so he could get it in easier? That's always been the question. What did she know? Why did she get off so easily? Why is she not talking now? Why not express the whole frustration of what you did back then and throw this monster finally under the bus? Or admit he didn't do it? It's very odd to me that she and so many others are staying silent now that so much is out there. Is she waiting for the guilty verdict? I just think it's a little too late, J-Lo. Now is your chance as you're trying to rebuild your brand. I know you were together, you had a history. Tell us the truth. I think at this point it's important you give us something to stand up for the victims and help put this away. Or are you complicit in it? And is that why you're silent? Look, I don't know. I want to know the truth, and that's why I find her silence to be deafening.
Some of you might think, but J-Lo is smart. She'll bounce back. Normally, I'd agree. But this isn't just some minor scandal she can smooth over with a heartfelt apology and a few tears on a talk show. This is serious legal trouble, the kind that sends investors running and makes business partners suddenly unreachable. Unlike Martha Stewart, who built her brand on being a homemaker, Jlo's Jenny from the Block's persona isn't going to save her here. Her situation is much more complicated. So what's next for JLo? That depends entirely on how things unfold. If she returns and faces the music, she might still have a shot at turning this mess into a comeback story. Hollywood loves a good redemption arc, after all. But if she stays in hiding for too long, she risks falling from superstar status to being blacklisted overnight.
I believe, if it came down to it, she's definitely gonna get called to testify. They didn't really go into like where she's at or she's missing. I'm more so thinking maybe they meant, just because she's quiet right now. But yeah, man, I feel like when you go and you look back and you just look at all the pictures and videos and you see all these people that were close to Diddy, it's like that they knew what was going on. But like I said before, it's like this secret society where they party and they have this lifestyle, the lifestyle of the rich and famous, and people trying to advance in their career. You don't say nothing, you can move farther. The more you do, the more famous you can get, the more you see, and keep your mouth closed. You can, so that's what it is. Because like I said, I'll be looking at some people and I'll be like, man, how are these people so famous? Because it seems like a lot of people who don't seem that talented, you see them on the screen a lot, whether it's a damn TikToker or whatever the case may be. So, and the fact that, she was like trying to block people's stuff from talking about her, that's almost like the same as everybody those celebrities that are deleting their tweets and all that. So, what they say, the cat is out the bag already. I don't think there can be no backtracking. Only thing she could probably say is, these are the things he was forcing her to do.
Can you believe all the drama surrounding JLo? She's dodging the law, leaving her empire hanging by a thread, and now there are rumors about her being involved in a major financial scandal. To top it off, she's ghosted everyone, including her own team. What's next for Jenny from the Block? Will she return to the spotlight, or will she stay in hiding and watch her career crumble? And what about Ben? Will he stand by her side or cut his losses? This could go down as one of the biggest celebrity scandals in history. Jlo's always been a fighter, but it looks like she's met her match. One thing's for sure, this drama is far from over, and we'll keep you updated with every new twist and turn.